Vegan is the new norm. Hi, welcome to Royce Airs episode 27, where we are joined today with the fabulous, the talented, the amazing, me, myself, and I. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, I hope that you're having a fantabulous Tuesday. I know that I sure am, but it didn't start off that way. We're going to talk about that just a little bit more once we get into the usual. The usual today, as our word of the day here on the Royce Ayers Show, is odious. It's an adjective. It means extremely unpleasant or repulsive. So how could we use that in a sentence today? The dairy industry is odious. Not to get odious confused with Odie. Garfield's dog brother? Something like that? Yes. But I'm glad that you all are here with us today. I'm ready for a very fun, fabulous show. We were going to have Mr. Jeremy Davis here with us today, but work called, and you know how that goes sometimes whenever they say you have to come in or else you are... No one wants to go. It's all good, though. It's all good. There was something I wanted to address. It was a comment that I saw on Facebook, and whenever people talk about their ancestors, our ancestors ate meat to live and to survive. Just want to mention that, a man who eats meat because his ancestors ate meat should also log out of Facebook. It shouldn't be watching this. You should probably be living in a cave with no Wi-Fi, because they did that. And they didn't have Wi-Fi. We'll talk about all of that later. Today is a Q&A session, okay? Since it's just me and you and Mr. Constant behind the camera and my handy dandy iPad here, we're going to just have a conversation. Sounds good? Sounds good. So let me ask you a question. Are you vegan yet? Are you vegan yet? You can answer in the comments, of course. Let's actually check and see. Let me pull it up on my iPad. So make sure you all say hi, say hello, so I can at least know that you're there, that you are responding with me. I'm here with you. There's a question. Some of you may have seen it on my Facebook. I posted it. Wanted to address it on the show. Am I crazy? Do you think I'm crazy? I've heard from some that yes indeed, Royce, you are kind of crazy. But it's not maybe for the reason that you are thinking. I have some different ideas. There are different things that I guide my life through that aren't generally the norm. So I wanted to talk to you all about that today and wanted to see if you can relate in any way. Am I crazy? Hey, JV, nope, getting on keto. Oh, JV, we're going to talk about that good old keto diet. I think that's good that you're taking those steps and making yourself an awesome person, because JV, you are the best photographer, and you're going to be even greater once you switch to that good old plant-based organic lifestyle. Ha-ha! Jaya, thumbs up right back at you. We still have your shades. I have them on Amari and I's dressers, so whenever you're ready, I gotta check for those other spices that you were talking about. Yes. Okay, am I crazy? I stopped setting goals for myself a while ago. And by a while ago, I mean maybe a year ago. And I've done this because I feel personally, this may not be true for you, but for me, that goals set a lot of stress. That I have to reach this certain point, that I have to, whatever it might be. Say that, I'm looking for enough, certain goal of likes. I know that we continue to get more and more likes on our page, and I know that we'll continue to grow as the consistency of the show prevails, and as we continue to get more and more awesome guests on the show. So I stopped trying to set these expectations that I have to be at this point in my life by this certain time, or else I'm going to be really sad and really miserable. Cut that out. Do you subscribe to goals, or do you also have a similar mindset? I just want to know, because certain people say that, Royce, I've spoken with this to other people, and they have told me that it's a cop-out, and that maybe I'm not challenging myself hard enough. But I really don't. I still challenge myself. I know that I'm going to be the best me that I can be. It's not about, I have to have this certain amount or this amount of wealth, whatever it might be. It's just be, okay? Just being happy and not even stressing about. My goal is not even to be happy, believe it or not. I would like to be happy. I always tend to be a positive person, but that's not the goal for me. The goal is just to not be in resistance of anything, which is way more difficult than it sounds. So I get it. I'm gonna turn over to the iPad because I see it's bumping. Jaya, yes, you can have those shades back. Maybe I should have worn them on the show today because I'm just so icy. No, JV, we all must be crazy to live without being depressed. Yes, I sometimes wake up depressed, and this is the times whenever I do set goals to myself, because although my mantra is to not set goals, to not create this stress, it still happens because I'm human. I'm not perfect. We know that most people here in America, we have that thing that's due at the end of the month, the R word. Yes, Royce. Royce is due at the end of the month. Oh, no, I'm not pregnant. Sorry, that sounded really bad. Rent is due at the end of the month, okay? Rent. So I try to steer clear. I try to make sure that, yes, I'm getting enough money to be able to take care of that. Do I always hit my goal? No. That's why I just don't set one anymore. JV says, do you have to be vegan to be on the show? JV, here are the requirements to be on my show, okay? In order. First, you must be at least 6'7", okay? So you don't fit the bill. Sorry. Also, you have to be extremely sexy. If you've seen all of my past guests, they have been all extremely beautiful people. So lucky for you, that works. Other than that, you know what, for you, JV, I'll make an exception. If you know somebody or if you want to be on the show, send me a message if you're willing to have a nice open discussion about the vegan lifestyle. That's the requirement, that you are active on Facebook, because as of right now, we stream on Facebook, but you got to subscribe to our YouTube coming up, because we're going to be going live strictly from there, because I need money. And I want to be able to keep doing this for you all, because I have a fun time doing it. So yeah, just hit me up, Mr. JV. Miss Amari Denise Spigner, so nice of you to chime in with us, you beautiful, gorgeous... Sorry, please don't call HR on me. Amari says, is living Hakuna Matata, no worries, delusional? Woo! That's a tough one. Amari, think about it. This world is crazy. The people in it, the things that happen, that go on every day, they are some insane things. We get a lot of our information from, just as I have this beautiful, cute little green screen behind me, and I'm a guy with a suit speaking to you on a broadcast. That's where a lot of people get their information from. And sometimes that information is not correct. But they will go around and tell you until they're blue in the face that this is happening because of this. Because they saw another handsome guy in a suit in front of a green screen. Maybe just a... larger cameras, lights, and bigger budget. But other than that, are they delusional? They're subscribing to what their truth is. So I guess I didn't answer your question. So you tell me. We'll talk more about it. Also, rent is due at the beginning of the month. Oh, thank God. So that means I get one more day. Well, Eric keeps telling us that it's due now. He says, y'all pay them bills, which I get it. Shout out to you, Eric. You're a great new landlord, but man, you are mean. It's great. It's fantastic. Ooh, Miss Renee laughing. I appreciate you for being here with us. JV says you can do do two people at the same time. I can in a way. We can work things out. The thing is, if I'm going to do two people at the same time, we prefer that their bodies already conjoined together. So if you're not a conjoined twin, it does make it a little bit more difficult. But I'm sure that we might be able to find something for you. We might be able to work this out. Are you nervous to come on the air and be here, JV? You are one of the most fascinating. You're super funny, and your voice changes from extremely casual to even more of a radio voice than mine. So I don't think you're going to have a problem coming on up here, man. Exactly, Amari. Just like a fusion. For the shout out to anybody who watches Steven Universe. Yeah, it's kind of it's a millennial thing. So it's where it's got such a great message. It pushes a really good open agenda about being yourself, and that is a show that I would let my kids, whenever they get here in 24 years, I would let them watch Steven Universe, because it's not going to leave them in this closed off from the world. They can just be free to express themselves and love who they will, and all that good new age agenda stuff. Push. Mr. Gary, glad to have you here with us. For those of you who don't know Gary Holmes, he is a true inspiration. In fact, I was talking to him today on the phone, and hearing his humor, hearing what he was saying and how he was saying it, how he was delivering his messages, that's the type of black man that I would love to be whenever I'm 55. Sorry, Gary, I did not mean to say your age on the air. Please don't be mad at me. Or do. Everyone else is always mad. Sometimes. Not too often. But yeah, folks, so am I crazy for not having goals, setting the goals? Amari, you said about the whole delusional. If you're, I guess, towards putting a blind eye and saying, well, it will all just be, and that it's just all going to take care of itself. I have heard stories of some very famous people who have subscribed to that. They were on their last dollar, or they're at their last just wits end with the world. Read Steve Harvey's story about, he came into money, lost it, came back into money, found that, he had this knack for speaking in front of people, but not just speaking, making them laugh, being very ha funny. So he knew that he was just kind of on his last bit of money, and he wasn't delusional about it, but he just kind of accepted the circumstances for what they were, because he wasn't going to let that have some kind of negative output on him for the rest of his life. He didn't want to project that type of energy onto people. So I try to do the same thing. I try to remember that I am not my circumstances that are going on. I am who I dream that I am, which I cannot wait for you all to meet that person, because he is so gorgeous and so handsome, and his voice is amazing. I love it when people say, wow, Royce, you have a great radio voice. And I'm like, I can't wait till you actually hear how I want to talk, what I hear inside. What I hear inside is this beautiful, strong, smart black man. But whenever I hear my playback, I hear this really nasally guy. So the fact that I'm doing this right now makes me really happy. Glad you all are here. Mr. JV, Jim Carrey. I will replace Morgan Freeman. Oh, whoa. Actually, no. No, JV. Morgan Freeman's been going through some stuff lately. Listen, hopefully, not even hopefully, when I become extremely successful with what I do, I'm going to be that one black guy that you all can point to and look and go like, wow, he's just had a great, honest career, no scandals. He doesn't get mixed up in the politics and the BS of all of just fleshly desires. So we're going to do this the right way, where people can't come back years later and say, hey, you did blah, 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 blah. No. Tell us a little bit about that whole Jim Carrey deal, JV, if you have it, if you know what it is off the top of your head, and if you can type it real quickly in here for me so I can reiterate to everybody else. Also, I love that we are having so many beautiful African American folks on this show, because we're having a little segment called hashtag Ask a Vegan. It's sometimes difficult to find where vegan is, but luckily you're listening and watching one right now. So ask me any questions if you have any concerns, comments, whatever about the vegan lifestyle. If you're contemplating it, we know that sometimes it might be a little difficult for people. They might not know where to start. Heck, they might not even know why it's important. So ask me. I love giving answers. I love making things happen. Mr. Rex Dungy. Sorry about the last name mispronunciation. I'm trying. I'm learning. This is all on the air, so I can't go back and take two. But I do appreciate the kind words. Keep up the good work. I like to think of it as keep up the work, okay? Good work. No, I'm kidding. I totally accept your compliment. Thank you. Okay, JV, thank you for supplying that for us. JV, you all may be seeing his comments pop up as Jervaris Kirkland. We're just going to refer to him as Professor Kirkland. Professor Kirkland says he wrote himself a check. Oh, I do remember this story. Okay, thank you for reminding me. He wrote himself a check when he was about to quit, and he said he would be able to cash it in a year. And he landed in Living Color shortly after. For those of you who don't know what Living Color is, it's one of the funniest 90s, maybe it was 80s, was it 70s, 60s? 90s, okay, it was 90s. Sitcom? Could it be considered a sitcom? Like comedy show. We'll say comedy show back in the day. And he was able to give that check out to his father, of his father, I believe, when he could actually cash it. So yes. I will do that right after this. I'm going to write me a check for $777,777.77 because I'm obsessed with the number 7. Do you have a lucky number? I was just talking about this to a young person yesterday about different lucky numbers that they have. Surprise, surprise, one of mine is 17. You all know about NOOR 17, my vegan modeling and talent network. You've never heard of it? Well, let me just tell you that we throw some of the coolest, biggest, elegant vegan events here in the Central Florida area. So go like our page and make sure that you come out to the next one. Okay? Cool. 90s sketch. Yeah. Amari, Jim did share his story on Oprah because I saw it pop up in my news feed one time. And I also see a lot of funny memes pop up in my news feed as well. I want to share them with you all one day. That's kind of where my little quote thing came from as well in the beginning, whenever I said that a man who eats meat because his ancestors eat meat should log out of Facebook and live in a cave with no Wi-Fi, because it was on the meme with the Chinese monk. He normally has like a lot of wrinkles in his face, the mustache that kind of curls down. He also has another funny meme that kind of went viral about violence is no longer the answer whenever a mosquito lands on your testicle. Yeah, so that was a real thing. Let's see if iPad is going to allow me to see who's in. Nope. I'll have to show you later, Mr. Constant, because the iPad doesn't want me to know who's all in here, but I'm so glad that you all are still here with me on Royce Ayers' show. You want to come and be on the show? Let's do this. JV, pretend that you're on the show, all right? send me a 60-second why you should be on the show, what you would want to talk about, what you would want to advertise, so that way my production team, Constant and I, and Amari, you are awesome for always tuning in, coming here with us, okay? John Sarah, of course you would give me a really hard task. You're so nice. For those of you who don't know John Sarah, he's one of the coolest guys in Kissimmee, okay? He's introduced me to a lot of cool friends, including Mr. Luke Haas, so thank you, John. Oh, but no thank you, John. Tell you some good squirrel jokes. All right. A good squirrel joke. Why did the squirrel cross the road? I'll give you all about a minute to kind of send your answers in as to why did the squirrel cross the road, and then I'll give you the actual answer, unless you get it. We'll see. Thank you, Mr. Gary. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming in, tuning in, sticking around. Gary, today we don't have our guest with us, so it's just me and you, buddy. Me and you and the other people who are here in the chat with us as well, too. And Miss Brenda came and joined us? Brenda, glad to have you here on the show with us as well. Talk to me. We're doing hashtag Ask a Vegan. Have you ever had any questions about the vegan lifestyle? Ask me. I'm one of the best people to answer it, at least in my mind. And then whenever I give you the wrong information, false information, somebody can tell you, hey, that's wrong. Cite your source. Don't send them my way. Please, please, please. JB says, oh, hey. As a fat man, it would be mostly concerning learning how to be vegan. Really? Since growing up, eating all things that live, even with some without a face. I get it. I totally get it, JV. I've only been vegan now for 2.5 years, which in the grand scheme of things is not a long time, because I've met other vegans who have been vegan now for 10, 20, 30, 33 years. So I'm still considered a baby vegan. And before going vegan, in my earlier journey, I had no desire to put meat away, ever. I actually prided myself that I could maintain such a slender frame by eating Burger King 3 times a day. Whenever people would say, wow, Royce, you must work out a lot, or whatever the case may be, I'm like, no, I eat Burger King. 2 double cheeseburgers, ketchup only, spicy chicken sandwich, and a cup of water. Pull up, your order is $4.24. I did that 3 times a day, and it was really, looking back now, I want to gag in my mouth. But I don't, because I'm on camera, and there's a lot of equipment around here that could get messed up, so we're not trying to do that. But yeah, we could do maybe like an Ask a Fat Man segment. That'd be really cool on the show, so that way we can hear both of our perspectives, JV. And you're a handsome guy. What's an easy way to transition? I've been struggling with dairy, fish, and chicken. Oh, Miss Renee, thank you for the question. Dairy is one of the most difficult ones to transition, at least from my perspective, talking with other people who are working on transitioning, because it literally has addictive chemicals in it. Casomorphins, look them up. They are hardwired to your brain to be more addictive than a lot of opium out there. So there's a reason why it's hard to give up dairy. I get it. Once I found the correct substitutes, but more importantly, the community. A lot of different places around the United States, especially here in Central Florida, has a big, thriving, growing vegan community. And that honestly is one of the best ways to help with a lot of the different addictions. Why? Because if you think about it, you're around so many people who are not vegan and who don't know about the lifestyle and who may not be interested in the lifestyle. So they're bringing a lot of their food that smells really good, that you're very used to eating, around you and offering it to you, and going to different non-vegan restaurants that promote eating, animals. So of course it's going to be more difficult if you're not hanging around the people who can show you different recipes and introduce you to good food samples. So one of my recommendations that I'll often give to people is just jump in as many of those Facebook groups or social media platform, social media groups of vegans that you can. So that way you can be able to easily talk with other people, and they'll show you so many different awesome substitutes. It's really just the texture as far as the fish and the chicken, believe it or not, because a lot of your different plant proteins, you get that same texture, and a lot of people say, well, it's the seasoning. Yes, the seasoning that came from vegetables. Seasoning doesn't come from meat. It literally comes from the spices and the vegetables. So once you get those different textures down, it'll be very easy to get rid of it. And the last argument that people throw at me sometimes, as far as like, well, I can't give up steak because I love the blood. Okay, you vampire, stop with the whole bloodlust. There's a lot more to life than drinking other beings' blood. Let's just be honest. But there are a lot of different, there's now a vegan steak that is out, vegan ribs that have that same exact consistency, and it's up to you to how you want to season it. You just moved to the vegan community, Austin, Texas. Yeah, I get it. The friends, none of my family, none of my friends, whenever I first started the journey, were interested in it at all. It wasn't until I started telling them more of the benefits and they started seeing it, and then they said, okay, what is this lifestyle? You're still doing it. It's obviously just not a fad. It's not a phase. That's where a lot of people get lost in the whole vegan lifestyle as well too, is they say, well, you'll come back to eating meat. For me, it's been 2.5 years. I have never done anything this long consistently in my life, and there's no reason for me to stop doing it now. My body would actually be pretty mad at me if I did so. This is the seasoning for the reasoning. You get it, John. John says that's not really even blood in steak. What is it, John? Because then I don't eat steak often enough to know. However, in the vegan steaks, they put beet juice and a lot of different, usually beet juice, to kind of replicate that red blood. And just as, oh yes, Gardein product is the way to go for sure. If you don't have to be a good cook. You just have to know how to read directions, turn on your stove, and go. Confession, that's my go-to, is Gardein. And some vegans will chastise me about it, say, well, you're not getting enough of your whole foods, plant-based. I get that. I will get there one day. Just let me be, okay? Let me be great. I'm working on it. John says, the best way to transition is to start by not eating any kind of meat. Don't worry about the eggs and the cheese and stuff. You'll feel better just by not eating meat. Your body works so hard just to process it. If you get the itis, that's basically your body saying, let's get fat, yo. You made me say the word yo on the air, John. That's, thank you. Yeah, I guess it kind of works for kind of bringing in the whole urban crowd. I get it. No, but seriously, like what he just said, that is it. John, I gave up meat immediately. Overnight, that was not a problem. The eggs and the dairy, those don't beat yourself up over it. Don't set a goal and say, hey, exactly 1 month from now, I should be off of all of this. If that works for you, then cool. But for me personally, I now know that I'm going to be a vegan. So I'm just going to be, okay? The reason why I don't stress for people to be so hard about giving those things up is because they pop up in so many different food items that you might not even be aware of. You'll eventually, as a vegan, you'll start reading the labels of things and go like, why does this have eggs? Or why is there dairy in this? Because it's so easy to not make it with that, but for whatever reason it's in there. And I do believe that there is a kind of a weird, crazy agenda as to why it's in there. Other than, yes, there are subsidies and grants that go behind these things to make them, to put them in our stores and make them very accessible, but don't stress yourself about it. Exactly, Amari. Just like carrot juice. We had carrot juice from this one restaurant whenever we went with her family to this place to eat food, and the carrot juice had skim milk. So I was ready to yell at the establishment. They didn't tell us. They tricked us. But it's okay, because they didn't realize when they tried to bury us that we're seeds and that we'll grow and that this has been our time. I appreciate you so much for joining in with us, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Thank you so much. Royce Ashcroft signing out.